There have been notable ballers that have etched their names in the history of the NBA, but there are some masterminds too that made these athletes reach their highest level. Yes, we're talking about the coaches, the brains that help a team reach their highest potential. In today's video, we're going to discuss the most influential NBA coaches of 2023. Tyronn Lue's greatness as a coach just can't be denied. When it comes to scheming and managing players, Lue is up there with the very best. Marching Cavaliers to their first title win in 2016 shows just how good of a coach Lue is. The Cleveland Cavaliers' 2016 title is remembered by LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, putting on a clinic in key moments. But don't underestimate Lue's role either. After joining the Los Angeles Clippers in late 2020, Lue hasn't been able to reach his full potential due to unfortunate injuries of his star players, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. He guided them to their first ever Western Conference Finals appearance of 2021, even when Kawhi Leonard was sidelined with a torn ACL. This shows if he doesn't deal with such unfortunate injuries, he can do wonders. If we talk about this year, Lue's Clipper had to deal with the same injury crisis in the 2022-23 season, leading to frequent lineup changes. Yet, they still made it to the playoffs as they finished 5th in the Western Conference. Currently in the 23-24 season, the Los Angeles Clippers are hanging well on the point tables, and if luck gets on their side, Lue will make sure they qualify for the playoffs. Ime Udoka, the former coach of the Boston Celtics, led the team to the 2022 NBA Finals in his first year as head coach. An impressive feat to achieve, but due to court issues and Ime's violation of the team's policy, he was suspended for the 2022-23 season. In comes Joe Mazzulla, a guy who also didn't have the experience of being a head coach. But he placed the Celtics on the map as he was born to lead this team. His leadership skills and enthusiasm for his team were visible in every game. Mazzulla continued the success behind the team's stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, while finishing second in the Eastern Conference after winning 57 of their 82 games during the 2022-23 season. The Celtics were as good as any team on both ends of the floor, while leading the NBA with a 6.5-point differential during the 2022-23 season. Going into the playoffs, they defeated the Atlanta Hawks in round 1 and the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference semifinal, while coming up short to the ever-determined team of Erik Spoelstra, the Miami Heat, in the Eastern Conference final. Although they made a tremendous comeback after losing the first 3 games, extending the series to 7 whole matches. The heart shown by Mazzulla and his team was enough for us to put him on this list, even though it was his first year as a head coach. Currently in the 23-24 season, the Boston Celtics are at the top of the Eastern Conference table, and many deem them as the favorites to win the 2023 NBA Finals. No list would be complete without Mr. Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. The influence that he had on the Kings was so huge that they made their first playoff appearance since 2006. The fast-paced Kings echoed their speedy point guard, De'Aaron Fox, en route to having the best regular season offense in NBA history. With their sky-high offensive rating, Brown's biggest challenges have been making adjustments and strengthening Sacramento's defense. But he's clearly a great player-manager who can create a positive culture and set a high bar. The arrival of Mike Brown changed the landscape of the Sacramento Kings. The franchise that was deemed cursed over the past 2 decades, the franchise that was about to collapse with the fear of no future ahead of them, finished 3rd in the Western Conference, despite lacking top-tier NBA stars in a loaded Western Conference. The Kings finished the season ahead of the other superstars-led teams, including the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Clippers, and Los Angeles Lakers, thanks to the sheer strategic brilliance of Mike Brown. Although Warriors did end up eliminating the Kings in 7 games, still, it was nothing to be ashamed of for a franchise that won 30 games the previous season. We can say that Mike Brown's addition to the team as a coach has benefited the Kings much more than they would have ever imagined. If we look at the Sacramento Kings this season, the team looks better than ever. With Mike in sight, the Kings might surprise us a lot this season too. From being a video coordinator to becoming one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA, Erik Spoelstra has come a long way. He's the same coach who guided a star-studded team featuring LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh to 4 finals and 2 championship wins. Whether it's managing the locker room or out-coaching his peers, he's one of the best tacticians the league has ever seen. His ability to adapt to different situations and make in-game adjustments is arguably unparalleled right now. Most good coaches are either known for their defense or offense. Some have the vigor and aggression, while many are calm and tactical geniuses. Spoelstra, on the other hand, is among the ones who are not only aggressive with crazy offense, but also sound calm on the defensive side. Talking about his run in the 2022-23 season, it felt like a ride of a roller coaster that had crazy twists and turns. Achieving 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, with a 44-38 NBA record, he let his team qualify for the finals, and from there on, it was pure carnage. Having already 2 NBA championships in his pocket, he was hungry to have his third. With the magic of the underdog team and his outright audacity, they knocked out the favorites Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games, the New York Knicks in 6 games, and finally the Boston Celtics to reach their deserved spot in the final. Unfortunately, their dream fell short when they faced Malone's Denver Nuggets in the final, losing 94-89 in Game 5 of the 4-1 series. Still, the season was nothing to be ashamed of, as the whole team and their legendary coach proved that Miami Heat can compete with the best and even defeat them. Currently in the 23-24 season, the Heat are doing an exceptional job, and we hope that we see another crazy ride this season as Erik Spoelstra looks promising as ever. Michael Malone's championship success with the Denver Nuggets this year has put him in the conversation of the top 5 coaches of the year. His genius and unconventional tactics have put the Nuggets at the very peak of the NBA mountain last season. That too for the very first time in their history. It's not that he has been great only this year, his greatness was on par with the best of the best for quite a few times now. His lack of silverware was just the thread that was letting him slide away from the conversation of elite coaches, which stitched perfectly this year into his legacy. He also managed to finish top seed in the West, which shows how well he managed his team. With Jokic playing at a high level and the team at near full strength after battling multiple injuries to the team's other top stars last season, the Nuggets finished with the best record in the Western Conference after winning 53 of 82 games during the regular NBA season. Not only just this year, from 2018 Malone has helped Denver achieve a top 3 seeding 4 times and a 6th place finish once. In the 2022 NBA playoffs, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games, the Phoenix Suns in 6 games, the Los Angeles Lakers in an impressive 4-game sweep, and finally the underdogs of Erik Spoelstra, the Miami Heat, in 5 games to win the NBA Finals. This shows the unmatched consistency of Malone as a coach. Malone's passion and determination for the sport has made him one of the best coaches of the current era. Currently in the 23-24 season, the Denver Nuggets are holding up fine, as we expect much more from them in this season. These were the coaches that ruled the 2023 year of the NBA. Not only did they make an impact, but the influence they had on their teams and fans is something worth detailing. Let us know if we missed some of the coaches that you think should have been on this list. In this video, we will go over the top true giants of the NBA and their journey to reach the top. We'll also be asking some burning questions about modern giants and how they compare with the OGs. Wilt Chamberlain. Meet Wilt Chamberlain, a basketball titan who stood tall at 7 feet 1 inch with a wingspan reaching for the stars at 7 feet 8 inches. Back in college, Wilt wasn't just making waves, he was creating a tsunami. Not only did he get picked twice by All-American teams, but he was dropping an average of 30 points per game. I mean, come on, who does that? He was a master at using his height to his advantage, which is why, even at 17 years of age, blocking shots for him was like a piece of cake. And we're not talking about just your regular blocks, we're talking catching the ball mid-air and slamming it on the other side. And the block party didn't stop there. Wilt kept swatting shots that were on a first-name basis with the clouds. I'm talking blocks reaching a mind-bending 50 inches off the ground. We don't know about you, but that's just not human. And if you think this mastery is not enough, let's talk about the crown jewel. the 100-point game. Yeah, you heard it right, a century in a single game. That's not just basketball, that's straight up insanity. And don't even get us started on his all-time NBA records, a whopping 72 of them. If Wilt doesn't deserve to be called a true giant, we don't know who does. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, let's shift gears from the Chamberlain era and dive headfirst into the kingdom of another NBA giant, none other than the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Standing tall at an impressive 7 feet 2 inches, Kareem not only brought height to the court, but an entirely new dimension to the concept of basketball giants. Any normal college kid would think of passing their class with the highest marks as the best thing that could happen to them, but not Kareem. He was busy winning 3 consecutive national championships with UCLA. College basketball had never seen such a display of sheer basketball brilliance. Right after his first year at UCLA, he was offered a whopping $1 million to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. But Kareem plainly declined the offer and went on to dominate the championship scene at the time. And then there was Kareem's secret sauce, the skyhook. It wasn't just a shot, it was an art form perfected to the last inch. Imagine Kareem, his wingspan soaring, wrist flicking, and swoosh, 2 points effortlessly added to the tally. This is what Bill Russell had to say about Kareem. Kareem's impact on the game goes beyond his on-court achievements. His intellectual approach to basketball and his activism have left an indelible mark on the sport and society. But it's not just about the flashy moves. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar redefined basketball longevity. He had an iconic 20-season career in the NBA. And in those 20 seasons, he went on to become MVP 6 times and NBA All-Star 19 times. If all of that doesn't qualify him to be in the category of true NBA giants, then take a look at his all-time leading scorer title. Wrap your mind around this: 38,387 points. Now, that's what giants are built to do. Shaquille O'Neal. Time to meet the Diesel, the one and only Shaquille O'Neal, a basketball giant both on and off the court, standing at a towering 7 feet 1 inch. If you are impressed by his height, wait till you hear about his shoe size, a ridiculous size 23, the largest ever in NBA history. Back in the day, Shaq was like a runaway freight train, but with style. He was breaking backboards and shattering expectations. But the thing that sets Shaq apart from other giants is his freakishly quick speed, which was unnatural for his size. But it wasn't just Shaq's gigantic size, he also had a personality bigger than the court itself. With a smile that could light up an arena, he made basketball fun, on and off the hardwood. The man could rap, act, and even throw down a dance move or two, a true Renaissance giant. Now, let's talk about the dominance in the paint, the infamous Shaq attack. When Shaq got the ball down low, defenders might as well have taken a coffee break, because stopping him was like trying to hold back a tidal wave with a broom. And when it comes to championships, Shaq checks all the boxes as well. Not only did he win 3 championships, but that too alongside Kobe. He didn't let Kobe overshadow him and made a name for himself, and this is why he sits on top of the list of true NBA giants. Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Hakeem Olajuwon, a basketball magician standing tall at a solid 7 feet. Hakeem wasn't just your average center, he was a formidable leader who led his team to win 2 back-to-back NBA championships in 1994 and 95. Duncan's stoic demeanor masked a fierce competitor. Back in his college days at the University of Houston, Hakeem was the king of the court, leading the Cougars to not 1 but 3 Final Fours from 1982 to 1985. During that same time, he was named the most outstanding player. But the real magic happened in the NBA. Hakeem's footwork was like a dance floor, making defenders look like they were doing the cha-cha. And oh, the dream shake, it was smoother than your grandma's pudding, leaving opponents dizzier than a spin on a carnival ride. And defense, Hakeem owned that like a boss. He is the only player in the NBA to record more than 3,000 blocked shots and 2,000 steals in a career. In fact, he has the NBA record for the highest blocked shots at 3,830. And 2 Defensive Players of the Year awards on top of that. That's a testament to his true unshakable giant status. And when the Houston Rockets needed a savior, Hakeem stepped up, leading them to not 1 but 2 NBA championships. His fundamental play and leadership were instrumental in the Spurs dynasty, solidifying his status as a true giant. Yao Ming. Alright, let's talk about Yao Ming, the giant of the game, standing tall at a whopping 7 feet 6 inches. Yao wasn't just a player, he was like a basketball superhero from China who made waves all over the world.
Alston looking, gotta get it in, throws to Yao, Yao lean in shot, he hit it and it's fouled! Are you kidding me?
Yao wasn't just a center, he was a friendly giant that everyone loved, from Houston to Hong Kong. People cheered for him. It wasn't just about the points he scored, he brought basketball lovers together from every corner of the globe. Now, on the court, Yao was unstoppable. He had this sweet mid-range shot and a hook shot that made defenders go absolutely dumbstruck. And if you tried to score on him, good luck. He was like a human wall in front of the basket. Injuries slowed him down, but Yao left a giant mark. He didn't just play basketball, he changed the game. When he stepped onto the court, it wasn't just about scoring points or blocking shots. It was like he opened a magic door for players from all over the world. In a Bloomberg article, Stern, a former NBA commissioner, referred to Yao as a prime symbol of the NBA's expansion abroad. Now, let's take a moment to look at the basketball giants of today. Joel Embiid, Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic are like the rock stars of the game right now. They're not just playing, they're making the basketball history books dance with new moves. Now, about Wembanyama. This kid is something special. At 7 feet 4 inches, he's already the tallest player in the NBA, and he's just getting started. The question on everyone's mind is, does Wembanyama have what it takes to become a true giant? Well, he's dunking, blocking shots, and playing with a flair that's turning heads. It's like he's got the basketball world in the palm of his hands right now. So, I know a lot of you guys are whining all the time about how the NBA just isn't the way it used to be, saying it's too soft nowadays, and how the guys playing right now would be chewed up if they were playing in the olden days. To some extent, you might even have a point. But hooping is an art, and like all forms of art, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, reminiscing on the good old days, let's talk about how the NBA is switching up from what it used to be. Let's start off with our boy Victor Wembanyama, born and raised on the 4th of January in Le Chesnay, France. He's a French professional basketball player for the San Antonio Spurs of the National Basketball Association, or NBA. He is currently tied with Boban Marjanovic as the tallest active player in the NBA at a staggering height of 7 feet 3 inches. Webby has shown to be one of, if not the most promising rookies of this season, scoring an average of 19.3 points per game. Now that in itself is pretty impressive, but keeping in mind how big our boy is, it's almost mind-boggling. Webby has a wingspan of around 8 feet, so there's almost no doubt about how solid his defense is, and his stats back that statement up completely, with solid blocks every game and an average of 9.3 rebounds per game. Now, on to more pressing issues for the team owners. From the dawn of the NBA's time, the teams have held all the cards, but that is changing at an almost alarming rate. The first example that comes to mind is none other than Beardzilla, James Harden, and him airing out his dirty laundry between him and the 76ers front office. Before the media got as strong as it is, issues like this were always kept private, but players like Harden are changing the tide when it comes to this. Harden followed up by making a public trade request from the 76ers, calling out the president Daryl Morey a quote-unquote liar. Guess he really isn't happy with his team, is he? The NBA, however, has got no chill when it comes to antics like this, because he was fined a staggering $100,000 for the statement alone. What do you think? Was it all worth it? Because he still got the word out at the end of the day.
Offensive foul, his second.
That's not an offensive foul.
On.
That is not an offensive foul.
2 to score in the third quarter right now. Wesley Matthews got to be careful here. Looks like Harden took a shot. There's a technical on Matthews.
Another example is the NBA and their drama queens, and we're still talking about you, James Harden. Harden has to be one of the most dramatic players on the court to this date, with almost everyone having enough of his antics, with the most fed up being the NBA's higher-ups. To counter flopping, the NBA has issued unsportsmanlike technical fouls on anyone that tries to show off their acting skills. This will result in both a free throw for the opposing team and the risk of ejection of the offender. So I'm guessing we're not going to be handing out any Oscars this season, are we? But if we're being completely honest, flopping is much a part of basketball as shooting the ball. But hey, whatever happens, happens for the best, eh?
I see Giannis and I see all his stats.
What?
Now, onto a bit of good news, at least in our opinion. No more will we have an overpowered team in the All-Star Games. We're moving back to a good old-fashioned Western versus Eastern Conference for the first time since 2017. So that means no more Team LeBron. Now, I've got to say that for me at least, it's going to be sad. 6 straight seasons of LeBron being named captain, and now it's no more. But at least this way, there's no biases while picking teammates. Yeah, we're looking at you, Kevin Durant. Another win for the fans is that to qualify for any regular season awards like All-NBA or All-Defense, all players must play at least 65 games in a season. Because I know at least some of you have spent your hard-earned money on tickets just to find out that your favorite player wasn't even playing. And I know that must be even heartbreaking. Even awards like the MVP have started following this rule. But considering the NBA's rich 75-year history, that's not much of a change, because throughout the years, only about 3 players have gone under that limit, namely Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, and Karl Malone, playing only 49 games. But in their defense, they were all shortened seasons, and half the season went on to complete all 82 games. All of them could have played the full 65 games. Whoa, now this is a lot to take in, isn't it? But we're not done yet. We've still got tons to tell you. Up next on our list of new introductions, and I'm pretty sure you've heard by now, is the all-new NBA Cup. The all-new in-season tournament began just a few weeks ago on Friday, the 3rd of November, and will conclude with the championship on Saturday, December 9th, with the semifinals on Thursday, December 7th, both of which will be held at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, based on their win-loss records from 2022 to 2023 regular season. All 30 teams will be randomly assigned to groups of 5 within their conference, on what they like to call tournament nights. Each team will play 4 games, once against each opponent in their group, with 2 games at home and 2 on the road. Now, this doesn't come close to summing it up afterwards, come the knockout rounds. 8 teams will advance, 6 teams with the best records in the groups, as well as 2 wild cards. Following that will be knockout rounds in the quarterfinals with single elimination games. The qualifying teams will compete for both a reward fund, $500,000 per player, as well as the NBA Cup, the new in-season tournament trophy. Every game other than the championship will count towards the regular season rankings. In the 2023-2024 season, each team will continue to play 82 regular season games. These will include those played in the NBA Cup. And if all this still hasn't got you going, let me put the cherry on top. New custom courts. Each team will have a new, fresher than ever court on display around the NBA Cup. Okay, so I know I told you how the NBA was shifting towards being more player-centric, but this next rule is every star player's worst nightmare, the new salary increment rule. But before we tell you all about that, let me give you a bit of backstory, just for the sake of understanding. Jaylen Brown just signed a $304 million contract, and being honest, this is just out of pocket. For reference, LeBron was making $19 million a year a decade ago, but today he's making upwards of $45 million. And to us, that's just unheard of. But what's even crazier is that around that time, only 2 players were making upwards of $20 million, namely Kobe and Dirk Nowitzki. And this season, 77 players are making over that. These salaries are through the roof, honestly, and because of that, the NBA has introduced a new rule of salary caps that prevents it from increasing over 10% in any given calendar year. Okay, last but not least, we're going to be talking about coach challenges. The NBA is no stranger to bad calls, and usually coaches used to challenge them, and that was it. Every coach was awarded only 1 challenge, and if I'm being honest, it was pretty stupid, and the NBA officials thought so too. So to prevent that, if a coach challenges the referee's decision and turns out to be right, they will be awarded another challenge. This honestly is a great move to prevent bad calls, and we urge the NBA to make strides towards more changes like this. Alright, so this pretty much sums up the video. If you've stuck around this long, why not drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel? We make videos like this on the regular. See you guys soon, and peace.